Method to find out initial feasible solution. There are mainly three methods used to find out initial feasible solution. They are given below. The first one is the northwest corner method, NWCM. The second one is least cost method, LCM. The third one is Bloch's approximation method, VAM. The northwest corner method. LWCM is simplest method which is used to generate an initial feasible solution. As per this method, we begin with northwest or upper left corner cell of transportation table. Each row of transportation table corresponds to the specific plant or factory. Each column corresponds to specific warehouse, market, etc. Plant or factory supplies or availabilities are shown to the right side of the table. Warehouse or demand requirements are shown below the table. The cell will be contain both quantity to be transported and transportation cost. The quantity to be transported will be shown in the center of the cell and will be encircled. Per unit, transportation cost is shown in the small rectangular box which is shown in the right hand side corner of the each cell. NWCM is the northwest or upper left corner cell of transportation table, and the cells will contain both quality to be transported and transportation cost. And the following steps are to be followed to find initial feasible solution under this method. The first one is consider first plant supply or availability and first market or warehouse demand. The lowest among two are assigned to first plant, the first market or demand route. If supply is more than demand, shift to the next market, and if supply is less than demand, then move to the next plant. If supply and demand is equal, move diagonally to the next plant and the next market route. So either a column or row total is be exhausted. The first steps is consider first plant supply or available and first market or warehouse demand. So the column or row total is to be exhausted. The next step is consider the reduced matrix. Then continue the steps explained in 1 till we get an initial feasible solution to the problem. Example for the transportation model is given below. And the second method is least cost entry method or matrix minima method, LCM. The least cost method gives a better solution than the earlier method. In this method, allocations are made in the cells with the smallest unit costs. It reduces the computation as well as the amount of time necessary to arrive at the optimal solution. Find the cell with least minimum cost in the transportation table and allocate the maximum feasible quantity to this cell and eliminate the row or column where an allocation is made. In this method, allocations are made in the cells with the smallest unit cost. And the steps of least cost entry method or matrix minima method. The first one is select the cell with the lowest transportation cost among all the rows or columns of transportation table. And the next step is, if there are more than two lowest same cost, we can select the cell for allocation arbitrarily among the lowest cost cells. The third step is assign the maximum units in the lowest cost cell. Then we can exhaust either a row total or a column on the basis of allocation. Eliminate that column or row. The fourth step is consider the reduced matrix table and select another lowest cost cell. Then allocate the maximum units in the cell. On the basis of that, we can exhaust either a row or column. The fifth step is continues the process till all available quantities are exhausted. In case there is more than one cell with the same lowest cost, we can also select the cell where larger number of units can be allocated. The next method is Vlogest Approximation Method (VAM). Vlogest method is based on the concept of opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost incurred for foregone opportunities or penalties. The Vlogest Approximation Method or VAM is an iterative producers calculate to find out an initial feasible solution of the transportation problem. Like least cost method, here also shipping cost is taken into consideration but in a relative sense. VAM usually provides better result in comparison to either method for finding initial basic feasible solution. VAM method gives better result with less iterations. Among the traditional method, VAM usually gives better initial basics feasible solution and it is an opportunity cost. VAM method gives better result with less iteration and it is usually better initial basic feasible solution. And the steps of the first step is find the penalty cost, namely the difference between the smallest and next smallest cost in the each row and column. The second step is among the penalties found in the step 1, select the maximum penalty. If there is a tie relate with maximum penalties, select any one arbitrarily. From the selected column or row, the next step from the selected column or row, as per the step 3, to find out the cell which is having lowest cost. As much as quantity must be allocated to this cell by considering the demand and supply. The fourth step is the column or row which is exhausted, it is to be deleted. The above steps is to be continued till an initial feasible solution is attained. It should be noted that if column is exhausted, then there will be change in row penalty and vice versa. And the steps is two lowest cost in each row and columns, and the row difference and column difference, and to the row or column with the greatest cost differences and assign the maximum possible number of units to least cost route in that row or column. and the method is given the better result with less iterations.